understanding the terrain, crossing the sinkhole, and in the long term, moving with the trend. It is important for a trendy company today to understand its operating environment, to identify and distinguish between short-term gains and long-term sustainability, and adopt a strategy which will allow it to grow bigger and better in the long run. Good evening, judges. I'm Stanley from the National University of Singapore, and these are my teammates, Chimin, Kenneth, and Icho. Today, we're pleased to bring to you our strategy of attract and retain, something that we believe will enable the company compete effectively in the travel industry. Now, let's try to understand the terrain we're in. Where we are currently, we are a medium-sized travel agency located in Hong Kong, and we offer inbound and outbound tours, mainly for the Southeast Asian region. Eventually, in the long run, we want to have a sustainable market position in the travel industry. As such, this brings us attention to two key issues today. Firstly, how to grow according to the key trends and challenges that we face in the market. And secondly, on how to identify accurately the key target segments that we should be looking at. So, to do so, what we like to do is really to understand our consumers. We see it currently that the largest consumer segment lies in the IVS, or the individual visitor scheme. The second largest lies in the package tours, where consumers actually pay for zero-fee tours. And thirdly, package tours, which are aimed and targeted towards high quality and premium customers. We look at the impact factors, but we do believe will actually cause this particular segmentation to change over time. Firstly, we notice that the IVS segment has been growing on an average of 3% in the past 5 years. And we see increasing complaints of customers of zero-fee tours, which we believe will actually generate a movement from customers demanding package tours, zero-fee package tours, to move and migrate over to demand for IVS. Thirdly, we see an increasing influence of Chinese consumers, and this could actually lead to an increase in the segment for high-quality package tours consumers. So the two key implications that this brings to our company in the long run is that the IVS segment and package tours for middle-high income remains attractive and something we should look at. And secondly, the recent surge in zero-fee tours may actually experience slower growth in the long run due to the recent complaints. Now, let us look specifically at the zero-fee travel market. We see that we can identify and separate it based on the demand drivers for such a service, as well as the demand restraints. We have divided into legislative, social, and economic factors, each affecting different parts of this demand. We see that the economic crisis in 2000, due to the SARS crisis, had actually spurred cost consciousness in our consumers, causing more to migrate towards zero-fee tours. Secondly, we see a growing segment of budget consumers. And lastly, we see benefits in terms of the operational aspect to both DAs and RAs, simply due to the asset-light cost structure that it brings to them. On the demand restraint side, we see more stringent regulations posed by governmental bodies such as TIC and CNTAA, which requires higher quality standards exerted by these tour operators. Secondly, we see conflicts between tourists and tour guides, and as well as low and uncertain pay for tour guides, which cause more of them to leave this industry. Lastly, we see inflated prices brought about by the commission-based model adopted by the retailers. It brings about two key implications for a company. Firstly, we see a trade-off between short-term benefits and medium-term sustainability of zero-fee tours. And secondly, we see increasing legislative barriers, which accelerates the movement of zero-fee tours towards an unprofitable zone for operators within this industry. Now let us understand our company. We've broken this down into two portions. Firstly, we understand the key strengths of Trendy Travels. We have and specialize in service quality, which caters to mid to high-end consumers. Secondly, we have performance-driven reward schemes, which actually forces our employees to do well and to provide a certain quality level of service. Thirdly, we provide customized tour packages, which cater to a wide variety of needs faced by different consumers. At the same time, we operate in a business model which has high profit margins because we are operating in the premium segment. At the same time, our bargaining power, our cost leadership is actually dependent on the total end market we are reaching to, because a greater volume purchase will actually allow us to drive price down with these operators. And lastly, this brings us to the conclusion that our profit margins are actually dependent on the interaction between our premium pricing as well as lowering our costs. This brings us to two key implications for our company. Firstly, is that growth focuses around new customer acquisition as well as retention to bring about volume, which will allow us to drive down costs with our different suppliers. At the same time, we should align our strengths and core competencies as displayed above of our company towards targeting the premium service market. So what we have just done in the past 5 minutes is to analyze the key issues and draw upon key implications. This brings us to the conclusion that it's profitable and sustainable for a company in the long run to be looking at the middle to high income consumer market, and which are actually making their purchase decisions through tour packages in the mainland, as well as coming into Hong Kong on the IVS scheme. And this brings upon two key objectives for our eventual recommendations: to actually attract our target consumers and to retain them. Hence, I'm pleased to pass on my time to Chi Min, who will bring you through our attract and retain strategy.
So the attract and retain strategy, we have looked at how the zero-fee packages have been on a growth in Hong Kong. So why ZF? Why are consumers interested in ZF? Because there's no upfront fee, and these consumers do not have knowledge about the hidden costs and unpleasant experiences within ZF as they bring people to stores with high commissions instead of places that the tourists actually want to go to. And therefore, what happens when they first try ZF, or when they first hear a friend or a family trying ZF? They then build a fear or distaste for packages because of the hidden costs that have been involved in ZF. And therefore, what they would do is to either uptrade to package tours with high costs, high upfront fees, or they would prefer to go IVS, to go free and easy, or to go alone. And we see that the segment with IVS is growing with 62% with the different new regulations by the Chinese government. And so to look at how to appeal to these consumers with the advantages of our company is to look at the intersection between these two consumer segments. Is that consumers who are able to pay versus ZF, able to pay what they would be going for package tours, and they value convenience. However, we look at the other segment, the consumers who are going to Hong Kong via IVS, they value customization, they value the freedom of choice. And therefore, how to appeal to both of these consumers with the advantages of our company as a mid to high quality segment package tour would be to provide Trendy Travel's customized package. 100% convenience with 0% hidden cost. And so, these packages would include the options that IVS visitors to Hong Kong value, which is first of all, sightseeing, second of all, culinary experiences, and third of all, shopping. So what we see is that consumers from China would bring a lot of cash for shopping and to value the good food that is present in Hong Kong, and to appeal to them with tour guides or customizations for them to choose whether they want the tours with shopping or sightseeing or culinary experience, or just one of them, two of them, just 1 day or 2 day, 500 Hong Kong dollars or 1,000. It is entirely up to them with this customized convenience that is provided to them via Trendy Travels. So how then do we identify these target segments, and how then do we attract them? We look at how we can partner with boutique hotels and 4-star hotels who are mid-sized like us, and who are also in a mid to high segment like us. So these hotels would be kind of like the DAs for us in the sense that they are where the tourists go to, and we'll be partnering with these hotels and therefore have a revenue split when these hotels offer these customized convenience packages to their consumers, and we'll be carrying out the tours for them. Also, secondly, to appeal to these increasingly savvy tourists who are coming here via IVS free and easy packages, how would these tourists on IVS schemes be looking for how to travel around Hong Kong? It would be via online information channels. And therefore, to be online is imperative for this customized convenience package to roll out. And therefore, we recommend that Trendy Travels move online to enhance their own website and to reach out to these consumers on relevant travel sites, and also on the hotel websites as well, to reach out to these IVS tourists, not only online, but also at the hotels, appealing to them at all relevant touch points. And our value proposition to these business partners would be that we provide service quality. We are not a zero-fee tour where consumers will have a high attrition rate. We offer high customer satisfaction and offer relevant market segment to these business partners. And therefore, with this win-win proposition of customer satisfaction with Trendy Travel, we value add to our business partners and attract new consumers to us as well. So looking at how we can attract these IVS consumers as well as to our current market segment, we then look at how we can retain them.
Thank you, Tim. So with an online platform, it allows us a mass of customer data for us to do data mining, data analytics, and keep our customers loyal to us with rewards programs, as well as understanding what they want to see, what they have not seen, what have they seen. So what we have is an analysis of how tour agencies retain customers. So we understand from various surveys that overall customer satisfaction as well as the repurchase decision to come back to Hong Kong after a 1-day or 2-day overnight visit for a second trip, maybe a year later, to shop some more, to do more sightseeing, to where you've never been before, or to eat some more good food, is to go to the various 4 sections, where you have the tour leaders, the tour guides, optional tours, and shopping. In the tour leader and tour guide segment, we recognize that training is already provided by Trendy Travels. So we have excellent customer service to these people who are coming to Hong Kong on the Trendy Travels travel packages, as well as the IVS people. We recognize that whether it's an IVS or a package tour, the leader and the guide is the same person, unless the mainland China DA brings across a mainland China travel agent to Hong Kong. But that is rare in this case because DAs and RAs have a relationship where they usually contract to each other and do not bring them over. We thus combine the tour leaders and tour guides into one consolidated thing. Whether it's called tour guide or tour leader makes no difference. In terms of optional tours and shopping, we see that customization is what we need to offer. And given a reasonable price, appropriate duration at the shops, as well as appropriate fit of the stores in terms of the mid to high-end stores, and not the second, third tier stores in various backyard locations. We want stores in Tsim Sha Tsui, in Causeway Bay, not the lower-end stores. So we provide this customization to fit the choices, tastes, and preferences of these mid to high-end customers who stay at 4-star and above hotels. So focusing first on the tour guides, we want to offer them a kind of scheme where currently the industry does not give them a full-time job. Many of them are freelance, have to go through licensing, and there's a whole big black market of tour guides. These black markets operate without a license because the license requirements now are memory heavy, and experienced guides who have 50 years of experience, 70 years old, cannot offer a licensed job. So what we do is that we have the training for them. We offer the top 20% of the tour guides based on our training programs, as well as the customer feedback forms that we've already gathered today, the opportunity to convert to full-time positions, part-time or flexi work positions. This will offer them a basic salary based on the tour, as well as the number of tourists, and also the commission structure currently in place in terms of bonuses at year-end. These training costs incurred are already a fixed cost that we currently do have, and we recognize that it's just better to retain these people with us and then offer the bottom 80%, who may be still good, various alternative opportunities such as flexi work arrangements. We then continue to offer the bonus incentive schemes to keep these people with our tour agency rather than another tour agency after all this training that we've invested in them. We also recognize that the individual visit scheme for independent customers may require slightly different tweaks to the program because these customers come to the hotels and they want something quick responses, day tours and 2-day tours, not a long-drawn 5-day, 7-day program. So we recognize that we may slightly alter our training programs to fit this segment in. In the next area of optional tours and shopping, we recognize that Southeast Asian tourists and mainland China tourists have many similarities. They look for similar things, with 73.6% of their spending going into shopping, as well as 55% of them staying for the night scenery with Hong Kong skylights that we offer. We see that of these people, the mainland spending segment is 63% of this 55%. And this segment is something that is similar both in terms of the dollar spent as well as the number of people who actually stay here. And therefore, there's no significant difference in terms of the spending per customer in mainland China as opposed to Southeast Asian tourists, who customarily make up the bulk of our revenues in terms of 62%. We thus want to provide them the shops they want and the sites they enjoy, as well as the culinary experiences along the way, top quality meals. In sum, our recommendation today is to provide top service, transparent fees. Any mix you want, you pick your hotel, your flight, your bus, your attractions you want to see, whether it's Victoria Peak, whether it's Disneyland, Ocean Park, wherever you want to go. We focus on 2 target markets. The 10% of people who currently go for package tours may have had a bad experience, this 8.5% of the whole market. They then go on to either convert to never return to Hong Kong, which is a very sad case for us, but we do not expect that to happen because Hong Kong has so many attractions to offer. Therefore, we see that they will convert to either the regular package tours that we offer for mid to high-end tiers, as well as the individual visit schemes, which is 63% of the market. No deceptive fees, no charges that are hidden, no shops with high commissions above the regulatory requirement of 5%, and excellent guides with customer service before, during the booking process at your hotel, during the process with train guides, and after follow-up checks through our feedback programs, as well as dealing with customer complaints. This will thus provide us the opportunity to offer mid and high-end customers at Trendy Travel the timeless travel experience that they desire.
Thank you, Kenneth. Looking at how all this translates into financial terms, I'm sorry I apologize for the smudge, but what we forecast is really a shift in business model. We see currently that they are mainly focused on package tour, but in 5 years' time, we expect the major revenue driver to be from IVS. 5% would be from package tour. Now, this seems very drastic, but we have to keep in mind that currently package tours, non-free package tours, makes up only 1.5% of all mainland tourist visitors to Hong Kong. So 5% revenue driver from this segment, it is not too drastic. But what are the assumptions that we have made to derive these financial figures? We have to make some pretty wide assumptions. But firstly, for package tour, we have been observing a declining growth rate over the past few years from 8 to 10%. 8 to 10%. We believe that with our recommendation, with our strategy, we'll be able to stem the decline. We may not be growing at very substantial rates, but we believe that we will still be able to maintain a lucrative segment in this area. Whereas for IVS growth, currently we foresee to have 0%, but we believe this will increase to about 55%, in line with what the market is experiencing, and also because we are starting off from a small base. Now for expenses, as mentioned by Kenneth and Chi Min, we will be recruiting her tour guides. Now we believe that because these are top quality tour guides, we have to pay above market rate, which is 25 Hong Kong dollars per tourist per day. We believe that we will do 30 Hong Kong dollars per tourist per day, and we will use 10 tour guides beginning 2012, and this will grow at 50% per year. This is in line with the growth in tourists that we will experience from going on the IVS tour. We also have marketing expenses. I apologize again for the smudge, but this will be about 10% of our incremental revenue, whereas 8% will go to marketing at hotel and car rental shops, and the remaining will go online marketing efforts. Looking at our implementation timeline, we see that firstly, for our track strategy, we need to place online advertisement. Now, this will take place throughout the next 5 years. We also have to set up a website for our customers to be able to engage us, to be able to book their tours through with us. This will take about first quarter of 2011, and the next period will be maintaining this website, adding new packages, and attracting these customers. Also, we have to find IVS partners. These are hotels and car rentals that we have mentioned before. This will take place throughout the next 5 years because we have to continually update the attractiveness of our partners. We have to retain the top 20% tour guides, reviewing their performance annually and seeing if we need to employ more tour guides. We also have to enhance the training to make sure that they are up to standard. Now, for the risk that we will possibly encounter, firstly, because our strategy relies heavily on partnership agreement, we may not be able to secure enough partners. Now, what we can do is to really widen our net of possible partners that we can partner with. First, we identify the needs of these partners, and then we have to successfully communicate a value add of Trendy Travels to these partners. This will increase the partnership agreement and increase make ourselves more attractive to more partners. Secondly, a second risk that may happen is possibility of failure of legislation to clamp down on zero-free tours. Now, this doesn't really affect us because we are not moving into zero-free tours. We are increasing our attractiveness as a non-zero-free tour agency and also targeting the IVS segment. So what we have to do is really increasing our marketing efforts to let the wider public know that this is our market positioning. And the third risk that we may encounter is, of course, the economic slowdown in China. This may affect demand because China is currently one of the largest market, one of the largest country for our revenue. But what can we do is we can increase our marketing efforts. Perhaps we can also use similar business model in other Southeast Asian markets. Now, we do have to remember that other Southeast Asian markets are our widest revenue source, even though individually they may not be greater than China, but as a whole they are lucrative as well. And in conclusion, I will now pass on to Shimon.
So attract and retain. Amidst intensifying competition from zero-fee packages, we look at how we can attract consumers who are interested in the mid to high packages, interested in convenience, and yet also interested in customization, therefore introducing the convenience package tours. Also looking at how we can retain high-quality service staff to ensure that we maintain top-notch quality to all our tourists, and therefore the attract and retain strategy. And thank you, and we welcome all your questions.
Can you talk a little bit about your recruitment process for these tour guides that sound quite unique in terms of the current tour guide market, and how you would find them and at what stage of their career?
Okay.
Thank you for your question. Currently, Trendy Travels is one of the unique agencies in the fact that we offer training to tour guides, and we offer an incentive package. It's an annual bonus based on their performance as well as the company's performance. No other company currently offers this, and in terms of the recruitment you're mentioning, we encourage tour guides of all ages to apply, whether they're fresh out of university or whether they're experienced at 50, 60 years old, because we want to help them to pass the licensing exams. Currently, they require an oral test and a written test. So those fresh out of university, maybe 30 years old, 40 years old, those with experience in a different job, have more stories to share for the younger people, as well as the mainland Chinese people who come over. And this is not limited to Hong Kong residents, but also mainland Chinese, because we understand the need for them to speak Putonghua as well. So in terms of the spectrum, it's a really wide spectrum. In terms of the training, we'll help them pass exams, the licensing requirements, and adjust accordingly. Every 3 years, we see that the licensing laws change. So having attracted all these people, we need to retain them as well, and that's where our fixed package for salary basic as well as commission for top 20% performance comes into play.
So the bonus commission, can you just explain that structure a little bit more?
Okay. So for a basic salary, we recognize the industry rate is 25 Hong Kong dollars, or equivalent to about 320 US. So we intend to pay above that at 30 Hong Kong dollars per tourist. So for example, if your bus has 40 tourists, then we pay 30 times 40. That makes up $1,200 Hong Kong just for that one day. And then the bonus structure is based on the feedback forms that the tourists fill up, the customer satisfaction, which currently we have a very much higher feedback rate as well as very high top-notch quality in terms of customer satisfaction compared to the industry in view of the ZF trend.
And the partnerships that you put down as a risk, forming partnerships, what did you mean by partnerships? Do you mean partnerships with DAs or partnerships within Hong Kong?
These partnerships refer to our partnerships with hotels, because for the customized convenience packages that we're rolling out to the consumers would be via online and also at the hotels, which cater to the mid to high segments. And therefore, we see the risk in always negotiating with external parties that the identification of the right partners and the customization of the right partnership arrangements, and the risk involved in a negotiation process. And therefore, there's always a need for us to identify the right business partners and then to negotiate to have the best arrangements, and therefore to also consider contingency plans in case there are any damages to our business when we work with these business partners.
Maybe I'd just like to build on what Jimin answered. One important ingredient we actually focus upon for these partners really is the quality of the service they can actually provide to our customers. Because if you notice, we're targeting the middle to high income customers, and our competitive advantage lies in that of providing quality service. So we are going to evaluate our partners based on the ability to help us to fulfill these objectives in reaching out to our customers.
Just following up on that, from the point of view of the hotel,
yeah.
Why would they choose to partner up with you? What would be in it for them?
Oh, okay, we've considered that. So basically, it's a point of difference for these hotels against the other hotels in the same basket. So let's say a boutique hotel, Dorset Regency. Let's say it's a one hotel, an independent hotel with many other boutique hotels of similar aesthetic, similar service along the street. So why would a customer choose Dorset Regency versus Hotel ABC? It would be if the hotel can provide not just good accommodation and good food, good service, but also tailored travel packages that can bring them around Hong Kong with options that are catered to their individual tastes. Yeah.
And from looking from the customer's point of view, in terms of just the cost of these tours,
Yes.
how would the cost of these new customised tours compare to the cost of your current product?
So currently, what I affected, because we were not given concrete cost figures, price figures, so what I've done was look at the price of zero free tour, which is about 1,888 renminbi for Hong Kong tour. For package tour, I increased it a premium, so I priced it at about 4,000. Whereas for the customized individual tours, I give it a price of about 500 renminbi. That translates to about $60 because that is generally the price range that we experience when we see advertisements for customized tours, individual tours when we go overseas. So we believe that the difference of about 8 times it more than makes up for the lack of accommodation that comes with package tour, the lack of a full day or full holiday itinerary. So we believe that this price that we have justified in our financials makes sense.
Yeah, and on top of the price, in terms of what the customers value here, is that we're providing the customization for them to choose instead of a package tour where it's entire package given to them without the ability to choose what they want. And therefore, in terms of value, that's what we're giving to them on top of what we have currently been providing to the market.
I've got a question. You know, like the zero fee package, and of course the customer, they spend certain amount of money. Do you do any study about, say, the individual person that you mean the high package, the high maybe net worth individual that traveling? How much they are spending compared to the zero fee package people that they are buying? You know, what's the difference? You know, did you do any calculation or any expectation on that? Because it seems like you are spending quite a lot of money on luxury service and things.
Yes.
What's the
Yep.
difference?
For the zero fee first, we are not choosing that segment because currently the DAs in China are going after poor farmers, people who cannot pay, who spend 13 sheep worth of money in order to just go there to Hong Kong and not realize that they have to pay additional tips, buy a certain number of products from the high commission stores, that 40-50% of the commission above the legal requirement is given to the tour agency, the RAs in Hong Kong. And these people do not have the ability nor the willingness to actually go there, but they are actively recruited by the DA in mainland China. Whereas the mid to high-end people we are talking about, they are able to stay at least a 4-star and above hotel. So in terms of the spending power, perhaps you're looking at around equivalent of above per year annual salary of $20,000 and above.
And also we look at these segments. Why are we targeting these premium segments? Is because we have also read in the case that tourists who come from mainland, especially those who go on IVS, are those who are able to pay. And able to pay, therefore, they are not going on a package tour because they have the urgency and ability to pay for services that cater to their comfort. And therefore, with these customized convenience tours of 1, 2, 3 days of $500 or $1,000 of their choice, with this customization is the value that is sought after by these premium segments, and therefore a market segment that we're looking to pursue.
In terms of your, come back on kind of the first point about the tour guides, although you said that you mentioned that you're going to pay at an above market rate, but that would be on a per tourist per day basis. But you're also looking at highly bespoke, customised tours where you won't necessarily get 50 people on the bus doing the same thing.
Correct.
Is there a danger there that A, you need a lot more tour guides because there'll be lots of different activities going on, and B, you'll find it harder to attract those tour guides because they'll only have smaller groups of tourists, and so even on the better salaries, it still won't actually amount to much on a per tourist basis?
First of all, the 25 Hong Kong dollar market rate is an unbinding agreement which has not been enforced, and since 2008, most tour agencies in Hong Kong have discontinued that practice. So the bulk of the Hong Kong tour agencies do not even offer actually a certain commission per tourist, and entirely based on commission basis. And even tips that the customer tourists pay to the tour guides, most of that is retained by the RAs in Hong Kong currently. So this $30 is a significant difference and not just a $5 difference that you see. And furthermore, the tour guides that we have do not necessarily need to just focus on so few people, because the buses can pick up multiple hotels, and the program goes on with optionals nearby shopping centers based on their different desires and needs.
To add on, I have actually factored in 10 tour guides. This translates to the number of tourists that we will see. It's about 17 tourists per day, so 10 tour guides would be enough to service these 17 tourists per day. Of course, this is based on assumptions that were not given the case, but I would believe that 10 tour guides, and with sufficient training, they would be able to handle the diverse skills required of them.
On top of the attractive pay scheme given by the 30% versus the 25% market rate or no set rate, we do recognize also that the tips given by these affluent consumers would be much higher than the average consumer, and it's something that the tour guide can control.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.